Hi, welcome everyone to the path of the first shaman, the path of the first mystic. The live webinar was last night, and I had some technical difficulty, technological gods of the recording that didn't record all the way through when it was processing. So I'm re-recording the webinar. So for those who were there, they're watching this, and it's like, your hair's a little different. It's a different moment in time, though I'm linking to all the souls that watched last night and all the souls who signed up. So we're still going to be engaged in that collective soul building of this experience. And before we jump in, I always like to start with a grounding meditation to get ourselves all on the same page and the same frequency as much as possible. So if you could find yourself in a comfortable seated position or laying down if you don't think you're going to fall asleep, especially if you're listening in the evening. Begin by closing the eyes. Tuning inward to the breath. Becoming aware of the inhalations and the exhalations, and where they land in your body. And as if we are in the same room, sitting all in sacred circle, the sage circling around your body, smelling the sage coming into the centers, the energy centers on the spine. And going to where it needs to go to purify, to land in the moment. Meanwhile, letting the inhalations, the exhalations rise and fall. And breathing deeper into the belly, into the pelvic floor. Summoning yourself to yourself on the exhale, root. On the inhale, gathering your life force from the day, from the week, from conversations that might still be lingering in your consciousness or on your heart. And on the exhale, letting it go. So as we sit in the sacred fire, we sit at the spiritual fire of our hearts. I like to call in the sacred to this space. The great mystery creator, the being that goes by thousands of names, but is truly nameless. As we sit at the spiritual fire of our hearts, may we have clear knowing. May we have clear seeing. May that any insight, healing, information, transmission that comes through in our time together be for the highest good in your walk at this time, in this lifetime, in this dimension. I give thanks for all the beings in the unseen realms of light who are gathering in celebration for this time together, surrounding us in a circle of light and grace and protection. May we lean back. May we rest in the beauty of who we are. May we accept the light, the healing being offered. As we come from all over the country, all over the planet, different stories, different paths, may we remember the truth that unites us all. May we sit in the Sacred Heart. May we listen deeply to the wisdom of our soul. May we follow the thread of oneness, expressions, beings of the divine. May we remember. So taking a deep breath in, perhaps shifting perception to feel into where you are sitting, where you are laying down is holy. Just by you breathing and being present and saying yes to yourself, that sanctifies the holy moment. So breathing into the front, breathing into the back. Grounding, opening. Resting in the moment. Resting in your soul. Welcoming yourself to yourself. And the circle is cast. So inhaling, perhaps sighing on the exhale, grounding into the space. And feel free to keep your eyes closed, your awareness inward. And if you feel called to open your eyes, slowly let the lids open with soft gaze, with soft perception, taking in the room where you are, the computer or phone in front of you if you're watching. Letting the focus be soft. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time. I'm just going to make sure this is to be present for yourselves and for each other in this collective, even though we are not seeing each other, all of us, and we're watching at different times. We are all supporting in this collective. For those who have not worked with me, well, again, I'm Caroline, and you are going to, I might be making strange noises, snapping throughout the experiences that we're going to go through together, burping. It's a process of moving energy. So I'm looking at the group soul and the group field. And so as things are moving or something's stuck, I might make noise. I might pick up my rattle, my bell, to shift the energy. So you have joined the webinar, The Path of the First Shaman, The Path of the First Mystic. And how that has come to me is really walking the path that I've been walking. I have been in the healing arts for about 20 years, pretty much since I graduated high school. I just dove into this study, this remembering. I had many different experiences as a young child and in high school of awakening, and saw energies and ghosts, and was really blessed to meet my first mentor and shaman when I was 18 years old. And I had already been studying in yoga and the chakras, and just really at a young age remembered this path. And so the path of the path of the first mystic, the path of the first shaman is really the pathless path. It's the path of sovereignty. And how we get there is through this deep desire and devotion to clearing our field, to really asking, what is our truth? What is our truth? What is our truth? There's many different special beings that have incarnated on this planet through every tradition, from the mystic, Gnostic Christianity to Buddhism to Hinduism to Taoist masters that have remembered that their path was to have direct communion. And we all have our teachers and our mentors. I have mentors that I see every month, and I have been studying on different paths for 20 years. So it's not about not following teachers or not having a path, but it's remembering that those practices and the lineages are the path, but they're not the communion. So what I mean by that is there's a way of awakening consciousness, of self-initiation, self-realization, self-actualization. We have moved from the Piscean age into the Aquarian age. We've moved from this place of placing devotion to other, devotion to church, devotion to external resources, to remembering. So it's about direct communion, direct revelation, direct experience. So when I say this is the pathless path, is that we are dedicated to coming back into our communion with spirit, back to communion with our souls, and have deep listening. So on my path, as a healer, as a priestess, as a teacher through many different incarnations and this lifetime, many different hats I have worn and from different traditions, what I have gathered through this process is the first part of the path, how to really walk this path, because it can, I can use those words and it can be very, can seem very glamorous at first. Those who have been on the path for a while know that that is not the case. Is actually can be a very challenging path. Is for purification, to clear yourself. So we go through this practice of holding ourselves to the fire. We go through this practice of being dedicated and devoted to purification and cleansing. So that's why different rishis and sages would go to the mountains. They would go into these dikshas. They would go into these kriyas and different purification practices so they may hear with less filter. Part of holding ourselves to the fire is really about unenmeshing from this world. We're in trance, right? Like the trance of being human. Like we can get so so attached to this human form that we forget what the real path is. Right? We all know the saying that we are not a human, have a spiritual experience. We're a spiritual being having human experience. So what does that mean to truly live that? Is unenmeshing. It's getting ourselves out of trance, out of the mind or the ego. And I say the ego word loosely, but it's like, where's the mind? Right? Look at our world today. The materialism, the way that the Maya, in the Kali Yuga, where like how this is being played out. And I mean, if you're on this webinar, you're listening to it, you've already unenmeshed and you've already cleared so much to be here from the collective trance that so much of the world is in. So we do the work to unenmesh from the world. And it can be sometimes like getting off crack. I mean, for reals, or getting off sugar for me, because I have a sweet tooth. Right? I mean, everyone knows when you get on a cleanse and it's like, okay, I'm doing this. And then it's like, oh my God, it's the third day with like no sugar, no gluten, no this, I haven't slept. And I'm just like really pissed off and I'm irritated. And you might be trying to help me, but I'm like, right? So there's those ways that it's just like, we know that like when we're unenmeshing from whether it's our diet, it's an intense process, it's an initiation. And so, it takes, it takes that fierce dedication, but it just also takes the fierce compassion, because we have the intention and then we go off, and then we can consciously choose like, no, I'm going to actually engage in that trance. I am going to believe that thought. I am going to engage that pattern. I'm not going to go sit at the spiritual fire. I'm not going to go sit in front of my altar and do the work. So that's another layer. We can consciously choose that. It's like when I'm like, oh, fuck this, I'm actually going to go get that pint of ice cream and like just totally zone out on Netflix and like do this thing, but I'm doing it consciously. Right. So it's, and part of this is the awakening process. So we are purifying to develop and to refine our subtle, our perception of the subtle realms, our perception of who's in our field. Is that thought ours? Are we actually running the tape from our lineage? Which lineage? So we are refining ourselves. You like know thyself, but then we take it further. Know all layers of ourselves. Know all dimensions, all layers of the field of ourselves. So it's that purification process that really allows that to take place and to ground. I'm just going to pause, see what wants to come through. So walking the path of the first shaman is I have the plans and the notes, and it changes even from last night. So if you're listening to this again, because we know what to do. We know. And the part about sovereignty that I speak so much about is doing the work to trust that knowing, because we have been programmed, indoctrinated. Even when we think we're not, we keep doing the work. It's like, oh, wow, I was still plugged into that program. It was more of the New Age program than the growing up conservative program, but it's still the program, right? And then we can feel when consciousness shifts from in this inner pillar, in the inner spine, where you have direct communication, when our consciousness jumps ahead, when we're in the future, right? We're all on our computers and doing the things. And, I was planning for this webinar, and it's like my consciousness was like down the block. And I'm like, why am I feeling all bizarre? It's like, oh, right, bring back. So a little bit of walking the path of the first shaman, the path of the first mystic, and how that's also shaped my life is that I've always had that sense of, I don't know. I don't know about this external thing. I'd get kicked out of actually vacation Bible school, which my mom taught at, so she wasn't thrilled about that. But, and I would look up at the stars, and I knew like, okay, what's going on over there versus this direct communion? They're different. At the heart of it, they're not, but the manipulation that has happened from those teachings. So really the piece about walking and finding your medicine path is about doing the practices to clear, to bring yourself forth and to listen. So we're going to go into a process here in a moment that you can really see like what's in your field. We're going to do some clearing. What are we holding on to? What might you thought you let go of, but it's still lingering, whether it's over here in the heart or the liver or the spleen or out here in your field. So I'm going to pause. Okay, my loves. So we're going to close our eyes again. Focus on the breath. Where are you now? There might have been a lot of chatting. So bring yourself back. You can even say, I, your full name, summon myself to myself through all dimensions, all timelines, all lifetimes. Following the breath from the base of the spine all the way to the top of the head. Letting the energy push the breath. The energy comes in, then the breath occurs. We have the breath and then the energy riding up and down the spine. Now bring your awareness to the base of your spine, to the root chakra, Muladhara. And from here, you're going to send a taproot, a grounding cord from the base of the spine, going all the way through the floor, the topsoil, all the way into the center of Pachamama, the center of Mother Gaia. Letting it go and go and go until you feel that sensation that's almost like a ping or your breath might get deeper. You might feel yourself relax a little bit more. You might feel nothing. All is okay. Sense and feel. And then getting curious, how wide is your grounding cord? If it is not as wide as your hips, make it as wide as your hips. So it is capable, it is strong, it is connected. So that grounding cord is wide as the hips. In our culture, in the Western mind, when we're up in our heads, we tend to have like a dental floss or a small tube. When I've worked with other people from cultures that live closer to the earth, it's like immediate. So we're invoking. So we can say, visualize, feel the grounding cord. What we're doing is the energetic connection. Good. And now turning that grounding cord on release. And if the mind is engaging, if I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know how to do this, imagine that you do. Yep. So imagine that you feel the energy. It's a way to get around the mind. Your soul knows what to do. The energy at release. So energy starts to leave your body, leaves the energy field, especially at the hips. And even turning up the volume a little bit on the release if it feels like, I'm not really sure. Maybe you've never done this. Maybe you've never consciously let go to Pachamama. Let go to Mother Gaia. So it might feel like the pipes are clogged. So turning up our awareness, our intention, like doing the Drano. Release. Letting the energy come off the back channels. We can store a lot at the back. So in the back body, again, don't worry about whether you're doing this right. There's no way to do it wrong. Letting the energy come off the back channels. The pancreas. Don't have to know where it is. And then putting a grounding cord also on the heart. It's like the trap door opens at the heart. Energy just flows out. meeting the grounding cord at the base of the spine. So this is part of the purification. This is part of the clearing. We don't have to get into story. You might have images come up. Ah, they said that, haha. So putting a grounding cord or letting energy be released at the front of the throat. Have to do with family pictures, family energy, some ancestral energy coming in of our voice. Good. Letting energy fall from the top of the head around the crown, some dust bunnies, just going to open up that space. And then the center of head, the ajna, the place of vision, third eye. Putting a grounding cord on that. Good. When mind wanders, just bring it back to the breath and back to checking in on that grounding cord energy, releasing as wide as the hips into Pachamama, composting into light. Letting energy empty out of the low belly. So just some energy stored up there. You're okay. You're doing this right. You're worthy of this clearing. You're worthy of this remembering. You've got this. You know how to do this. This is your birthright of your own energy anatomy. We're just not taught it. This is like brushing the teeth. The back of the heart. Then asking any energy that's around your space, around your field, in the biomagnetic field around you in your aura that wants to be let go of, anything that lights up. See some fullness. Again, if you've never done this before, if we've never worked together, there's a lot there, right? So that you could feel full. You might feel over some energy. Once we turn the flashlight or turn the awareness on of what's in our field, it can feel overwhelming at first. Just stay with it. If you're listening to this, I guess we're all listening to this recorded, you can press pause and stay with this for a while. Letting it go, letting it go. Good. Good. Taking a few more moments, asking anything that's just for right now. You can come back later that is ready to just be flushed down that grounding cord, getting yourself in present time. This is why we do this. This is the purification. If I'm holding on to this energy that lights up in the back of my sacrum, in the conversation I had with an ex, let's say, I can't be in present time. Not fully, so letting that go. You might see a color. If there's an energy or a relationship, something that's looping, ask for it to show itself as a color. Yep, good. So once you see that color, ask for that color to light up in any other place in your space. For example, if I'm doing some clearing in the outer layers of my body and my field, and I can tell it's related to a certain relationship, and I ask for it to show itself, and it shows itself as like pea green. So a way to, because some energies don't want to leave, so a way to jump the system is, where else is pea green in my field? Oh, there it is in my belly and in my womb. Okay, I'm asking all of that energy. You're creating sovereignty. You are reclaiming your space. You're walking the path of the first shaman. Good. Okay, taking a few more breath cycles, just letting everything settle. So you can drop that awareness and then go back to the breath of the inhalations and exhalations. And notice what you notice. In your front body, behind you, to the sides, do you feel lighter? Do you feel full? Good. Okay, again, feel free to keep your eyes closed. If you choose to open them, slowly come out. Soft gaze, letting the periphery to come in. This ensures that we're not jumping out of our internal. So it's a way to help practice always keeping that pulse on the inner stream. Just one finger, like one finger on that inner sanctum, right? So our inner reality. So when we're driving the car, we're speaking to someone, we're aware of that inner stream, aware of our soul. And I know that's mastery, really. If we are, it's wakefulness, it's that is like self-actualization, a wakefulness in every moment. So of course we're gonna, get back in the trance, back in the Maya, and then we like, oh, come back. I did it again. I went a whole day. I went 5 years. Come back. Good. Okay. So feeling into even, how you're looking at me, how you're looking at the room, like how is perception shifted? How is consciousness shifted? So that's also where like being aware of, we do these practices, we engage in this way, and then it's like, for why? Just notice, like, does your heart feel softer? I know mine does. It's like, oh, okay. We're not on a webinar and I'm doing the thing. I'm like, I'm with my people, right? I'm with my sacred tribe. We're doing this together because it's that time on the planet to just, we're all here to just like, fuck, man, we got to wake up. This is the time. So I cuss a lot, just FYI. I sometimes try to curve it, but it just flows out. So, we're here together, right? There's no separation. We're just doing this thing together. And, as we clear and let the past, like we come with this consciousness and we walk around, and so much, like, how much am I really here? When we're having a conversation and I haven't cleared, like, how much is my ancestry, how much is my great grandmother's grief that I am holding in my cells actually communicating with your great whatever's, right? So how much is I as the soul and you as the soul really in communion? And that's really the, when there's a lot of talk about the sovereignty and consciousness and awakened consciousness, like, what does that mean? Wakefulness. It's like, how do we just see, be present, right? And I mean that in a way that's like, I can be present, but I haven't done my clearing and practices. I am present, and that's great. A lot of freaking people on the planet are not present, and they don't care about being present. However, we like up the level of presence. Like, okay, I'm way more present than I was last year or 10 years ago. When I sit in ceremony, I'm there. And a year from now, I'll be like more there, and I'll be more there until there's nothing, and this lifetime, next lifetime, whatever. So it's really about, full self. So, yeah. Thanks for staying with me. I can also get a little bit wordy with all this. This is so much my passion. So the path of the mystic, the path of the priestess, what does that mean? These are different archetypes. What archetype lands? If the shaman piece doesn't land with you, shaman comes from a Siberian word. It means, or the root of it is one who sees in the dark. that doesn't relate to you or feel good, or it feels like cultural appropriation or whatever your story is with it, you don't need to try it on, right? What are the archetypes? What are your living archetypes? For me, it is priestess. For me, it is mystic. Those are living energies inside me. And it's really actually me stepping back and asking who's there and then listening. So it's not like I like picked when I was a little girl, like, oh, I'm going to be a priestess. In fact, I wanted to be an English professor or college, actually a high school English teacher, because I love Dead Poets Society and poetry, and, that was not, I tried. And let me just tell you all the things that did not work out. So, it's really, it's like, what's moving through you? What is the archetypes that, and I don't mean, as if that archetype has power over me, but what is this, my soul, myself, like, what is that energy birthing through me, living through me? And so again, if I say inner mystic, inner priestess, and those don't work, just don't let that catch you up, right? Just like throw that away. And like, what is it? Like, what's your higher self? You can just the higher self. So when we really are engaging with these parts of ourselves, we're engaging in the mythic poetic, we're engaging in ritual, we're engaging in ceremony. That means when I wake up in the morning and I'm drinking water and I'm conscious, I'm present, my prayers go in, I drink my water. I'm going to have some water right now, actually. Right? And I was half conscious there, but like, it's, like what are the things? And not that, every moment it can be a ritual and we're running around and doing our thing and checking our phones, but what can be? Because changing those habits and changing those behaviors, just picking one thing to ritualize, completely changes the fabric of the experience and the frequency. So then what does it mean to change the frequency? We change the radio station, so synchronicities change. That's when we say magic starts to happen. When I'm like, oh, I got to do my thing and newsletter and the things and the admin and the emails, which is not my favorite because I don't really like being on the computer that much. I light a candle, I pull a card, and then I pause and I dance, or I dance before, and it's like, boom, like, okay, like, there is no separation between priestess and ritual and ceremony when I'm like in the woods or, doing, or facilitating a ceremony with people, or a birthday, blessing. It's all the same if I bring my intention. So with that is cultivating the sovereignty, right? That is the frequency in our cells. And that's the memory, that has now space, because we've done the purification processes, has now space to be birthed, has space. So we clear so we can gather. We clear so we can invoke what's inside, right? So, because it's inside. It's not like, and the person that's like doing their thing and asleep and materialistic and all that kind of stuff and just spinning in their own suffering. It's not like their higher divine self is not in there, but there's no space for, they might get glimpses, but we're opening up space so that can be turned on. Our light quotient can be turned on. The cells can remember in a different way. We commune, right? We commune with our higher self. And then we realize, oh my gosh, we're not alone. We have each other, but wow, not just like this, like more abstract sense of spaciousness when you look at the stars in the desert. I love that, going out to the southwest and the stars at night. Nothing like it, right? That sense of open expanse. So that's one thing. And then there's direct communication. Then it's like, oh, wow, there's my family, which we're going to travel to our star family here in a moment. It becomes, just like when when you follow someone, or that person through community, and you respect them, and you're kind of fascinated with them maybe, but there's not like juicy relations, right? That's what we switch to. What's the juicy relations with the earth, with Gaia? What is the juicy relations with our star family? right? What is the juicy relations with the river? Like, as a divine being that she is. There's a river here locally that I go and do a lot of ritual with, and my friends actually was like, your native name, if you had one, would be Roses and Rivers, because I'm always like doing ritual with roses and rivers and throwing them in and doing prayers, and it's quite a habit. And because she is my sister, and she is my friend, and I get teary-eyed sometimes, just like the love of, she's got me and I've got her. And I know, like, it's winter and I'm like kind of a wuss about cold weather here. And there was a woman on from Sweden last night. So she's probably like, oh my gosh, what do you mean cold there? I live in North Carolina, here in Asheville. But anyways, I haven't been out to the river, and I can feel the, like, I was just actually the other day with one of my dogs, like, okay, I need to go take her to the river again and like do the ritual. Cause I slack a little bit more in the winter, and it's like, I can feel like, oh, I'm not tending to that relationship. And there's grief there. So it becomes the juicy relationship. It's direct communion. Same with the stones. You know what it's like to have your favorite place in nature. Maybe you grew up by the water. Maybe you grew up by a lake, grew up in the mountains. A dear friend of mine, and he's like born from the mountains here. You can just walks barefoot miles and miles in the forest and never on the trail. And he's part of the landscape here, like direct communion. So that again is like, that is the way that we engage. Is it becomes less of there's other, and even like, oh, there's other, and we respect and we love to be in nature and it makes us feel better, more peaceful. And then it's like, oh, they're my people, they're my friends, the rocks, the rivers, and we can listen. So and just like any relationship, it's the speaking and it's the listening. So we offer the prayers, and then we get to receive as well. We get to be in Aini, sacred reciprocity. We have a lot to give in order to be able to be in that balance. But, it is the give and take. Oh gosh, I could talk for that a long time. So it really is about the shift in consciousness, right? The shift in consciousness to expand. When we say all our relations, we're connected to all things, what does that mean? How do we live that? And that is another shift of the path of the first shaman, the path of the priestess, the mystic. We are in communion in a very deep, intimate, personal way. Okay, we're going to pause. Okay, so let's do another journey. Getting comfortable, closing the eyes, and inhale. And exhale. Feeling that stream of light from the base of the spine to the top of the head. When the mind wanders, just bring it back to the inhales and the exhales. And opening the crown, letting the petals unfurl in the crown center at the top of the head. Yeah. I'm asking that any energy that does not belong for you, that's not in your highest good, it gets spun off. There's some like dust bunnies. It keeps us from our knowing and our connection. I'm just going to do some energy shifting. Good. So from the top of the head, we're going to bring our awareness up to the 8th center, the soul light. It's called the Ba in Egyptian alchemy. It's a place of the soul record. This is where we gather ourselves. Good. And from here, we're going to go up the cosmic ladder, going from the 8th center foot above the head to the 9th. And if you do not know you don't need to know where these chakras are. These are called the spiritual body, the spiritual chakras that are beyond the physical body. Just let the mind go. I'll just guide you up, and if you don't feel, you can just go straight in a stream. But from the 8th center to the ninth chakra to the 10th, which is above the ninth. So we're just going up like points of light, like acupuncture points of light. The 10th to the 11th. And maybe even get curious if one lights up more. Maybe the 10th chakra feels more vibrant. And when I say see, it could be sense. You could just have a knowing. You could hear the 10th chakra and then 11th. How does this feel? Maybe this is the first time you're saying hello. The 11th center to the 12th. Good. So from the 12th, we're going to go all the way, asking to be taken to your star family, to your birth, to your star family. So where were you birthed in the constellations? That part of self that's from the stars. And if the mind's like, what the hell? Just let that go. You can come back to it. I'm just going to get curious. You can say a visualization. We're going on an imagination journey. Letting your guides, your soul, just letting the awareness go up and up and up and up. All the way into the heart of this constellation, your star family. And allow what wants to unfold to just happen. Feeling into that frequency of cosmic light. When you tune into that frequency, what happens? Does your body get lighter? Are you meeting a being? Is there a being that the constellation, your star family, shows itself? So let whatever wants to unfold, unfold. Good, beautiful. Trusting your experience. No, and inviting that celestial energy back into your field, so coming back from receiving the gems, receiving the gift, maybe taking another moment in the star system, in the celestial realms, receiving the gift, and then coming back, knowing that you can return. This is just a brief introduction. This is just a hello. Coming back, hitting the 12th center, the first drop of individuation from the divine of your own individuated consciousness. The 12th chakra is the highest frequency, the highest vibration of yourself. And from the 12th center to the 11th center to the 10th to the 9th, the 9th to the 8th. So we're now at the foot above the head, at the soul light, welcoming in that celestial star sparkle yumminess, letting that energy come, fill, 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 overflowing like the Ace of Cups coming into the crown, and then letting the celestial light go wherever it's guided. Does it want to go into the brain and light up the cells deep in your brain? Does it want to go to the back channels, or perhaps just swirl all around your field? Beautiful. Just letting your cells resonate with the celestial high dimensional frequency, letting the DNA start to resonate with this frequency. And Tunia, what does it feel like in the belly to have the light of the stars and your womb? And letting every cell, every molecule, every atom turn on. Turn on with that high frequency, with that consciousness. Good. And then letting that intention go. Coming back to the inhalations and the exhalations. Notice what you notice. Check in with the grounding cord. Are you still rooted as well into the earth? Are you feeling the earth star, the light in the middle of the earth pulse? The base of the spine pulse. Crown is open, connected. Now bring awareness to the heart. Letting yourself sink a little bit deeper into the heart. The place of wisdom and truth. Yeah. Few cycles of breath. Perhaps sighing on the exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last time, deep into the belly, grounding, bringing all of your energy back to this moment in your body, feeling the air, the temperature on your skin, feeling the holy place where you sit, and slowly opening the eyes. Or you can stay inward, your choice, as always. Letting the eyes float, slowly open, taking in the periphery, soft gaze. Welcome back. So again, this is the recording afterwards, and I had something else planned for last night to do, and Spirit just came in, and I picked a card before. It was the Lady of Stars, and before that, all these different celestial energies are coming in, and as the group soul connected last night, it was so clear that we were going to journey to our star family, which was not in the plan. But goodness, that's one thing I've learned. Loose outline, then listen. So I checked in tonight since I was re-recording it, and it was the same thing. So I hope that felt nourishing. Last night, people had some pretty profound experiences. Some people received names and got a healing. Someone messaged me that they had been having a headache for days, and after the meditation last night and the grounding, and then also the celestial bath, that it was gone. And there are many, my brain's a little bit in right brain right now. There's many different other people wrote in to see, to share their experiences. So, yeah, I hope that you can always go back to this. It's a really beautiful engagement to have, to keep lighting up ourselves. Because why do we do this? We do this to remember that we are a child of the earth, and we are a child of the stars, and we tune in our DNA to those two frequencies, our family. And what it produces is a shift in consciousness. We increase our light quotient. So if I had the photography that does the aura, right? So it would change the color, right? Because it changes the frequency. When it changes the frequency, and I'm bringing in more fifth dimensional energy, sixth dimensional, seventh dimensional, then the light quotient in my body, my cells, my liver shifts. So then my field shifts, my frequency shifts. So then my experience shifts. Synchronicities. And we all have this experience, right? When we stop and do ritual or meditate, and we ease into our day in a different way. We might run into someone at the grocery store. Things start popping. We get this email that from the person we were just thinking of, or like dropped in meditation. So that's what the miracles, the synchronies are. We're pushing calci, which means that we're the energy. That is creation. When we are, again, like, part of our being is on the pulse of spirit, on the pulse of our soul, in the unseen realm, the inner temple. That energy comes in, fuels this one, then we push. I don't mean push in like a manipulation, but we create, right? So we have more sovereignty. We're less living by the effect, the cause and the effect of our experiences, our thoughts, our deeds. We're consciously creating. So it's a huge shift in being. I mean, it's been life-changing for me. And so guides are coming. Actually, Mother Mary's coming in really strongly to remind this, because we've done the earth, we've done the celestial realms. All this gets anchored in the heart. So I can feel my heart actually just pulsating more, and more opening. And so if there's also grief, and there's also places in our heart that needs to be healed, we bring in these high frequencies, you're going to feel it. You might feel a little crunchy. It might be like this, called the stuffed pig effect. So we want to clear, empty, bring in light, and then let the shadow come up, let the wound come up. That's why we bring in more light. It's just like when you're, cleaning a room with, a small lamp, then you turn on the overhead, and it's like, forgot to sweep that. Actually, I have a fan in my, this is my room I practice and see clients in, and my mentorship. And I looked up and I was like, oh God, I have not cleaned that fan in a while, but I hadn't turned on the overhead. I don't usually like overheads. And so it's the same thing. We're turning on the overhead. Right. And then it all gets anchored in the heart. It is truly the heart. The more we go in, there's different levels of going into the heart, into the temple of the heart. The deep, it's also the piece of the awakening. So the celestial, the earth meet in the heart. It blossoms, and it's the awakening. How's everyone feeling? How are you feeling? Again, notice what you notice. Notice how you felt differently from the grounding cord to the journey of the stars. My journey with this work, and why, I have to do it. It really makes a difference of, it's the magical life, and the magic gets used a lot, and I still like the word, but it really, it's empowering, because it's creation. We are creators. And it's different from, the manifest whatever you want, and you do your affirmations, and you're like, why the fuck am I not manifesting? I've done everything. It's just like, we're manifesting from a place of just knowing that we're doing the work, We are creating the shift in our consciousness. And that's the difference. It's like, it's not that do all this work and then like you'll have no problems and you'll manifest like a perfect life, because that's not, there's no such thing, you know, but it's more of I elevate my consciousness and I stay grounded. I'm in communion with what's around me. And so as things come up, presentations of hard things, like I have different resources. You know, I'm consistently going into the woods and doing ritual. I'm consistently doing the limpias, which means clearing. I'm consistently engaging in this path of ritual and ceremony. And for me, you know, I do have a bit of a rebel archetype within me. It's jumping the system, you know, like the world as we know, like the patriarchy and the like work and do is just such a scam. It's such a scam on us not being able to have the time to remember who we are and to shift into sovereignty, because the powers that be and the government, this would not survive if everyone did that. And it's not just about individual consciousness and awakening. You know, it also is the bodhisattva, that may all beings be free, may all beings know joy, may all beings be connected. And when you start relating to the stars, to the river, you do relate to the person, you know, behind the counter differently. You do relate to the earth. You know, it's a beautiful way of being. And it's really, you know, I had in my own personal life, I lost a child a few years ago and almost died myself, and it was during childbirth. And I practiced these grief rituals at the river. And there was a time where I was like, if I have to do this every freaking day for the rest of my life, I will. And I did for a while. I was doing it, maybe not every day, but definitely a few times a week. Then it became, okay, I'm going to do this a couple times a month. And I still engage in these rituals because there's always grief, but there is like acute grief, and going into the death realms and the hell realms and all of that, you know. But it's like you engage in ritual, you make separations, you know, you're able to move through things faster. You're able to process wounds. You're able to heal in a way that that you get the wisdom faster. And not that, you know, like I'll always still have grief about losing my son. Like I'll never be done with that. You know, there always will be this thing, but it doesn't overcome, like it doesn't take me over. And I'm in communion with him as a spirit, you know. So you do these practices and you open up perception, and then the communion flows. And it's a profound way. So I won't get on my soapbox about that. But I am, if you can hang in with me a little bit longer, I'm really want to share something with you and excited about this program, the Shamanic Priestess or Mystic program. And I'm launching it again. This is the 4th iteration of it, like it is now. And I feel blessed, really. I say excited because I am excited, like my human self is excited, but what I really feel is blessed because I'm a steward of this consciousness. When I was working with my guides and in ceremony and then deep prayer and at the river too, is, you know, the consciousness of Temple of Earth and Sky Mystery School came through. And I'm still in conversation and working with this as a consciousness. And so I really believe I'm a steward of this consciousness. And under that is the Shamanic and Mystic Mentorship Program. And it's a 6-month journey. And it's a 6-month journey into the realm of the soul and spirit. And we travel through the different realms. We learn how to work in the Kayapacha, this realm, right? You really embody, we work with you as the medicine carrier, you as the sage, the medicine being, the medicine woman, the medicine man, the mystic, the priestess, the seer, all of those wakefulness. I mean, we can say all those archetypes, which I love and resonate with. And, you know, I love the epic stories and the wizard and the wise one, the shaman. But really it's like wakefulness, right? It's all within you. And it's a journey to get to know and refine and establish that more deeply is the pathless path, which is the juxtaposition of being a facilitator of the pathless path. So I'm showing you a path of the pathless path, but it's giving you exercises and practices and being in deep communion to be able to trust in that. We can all feel very isolated, or you might feel that, you have this inner knowing and like you feel the resonance with those archetypes, or you hear your guides, but you doubt. You're like, oh, I get messages, but I'm not sure. Or you might be a healer and you're like, oh, things are starting to come through, or energy starting to open up. I'm starting to see things. What do I do? So much of my path has been to work with my sensitivities. I had seizures growing up, and I always saw energies, and ghosts were coming to me all the time. And at one point I was just like, I'm going crazy in the Western model. And I went to psychic school for 2+ years and immense amount of training and energy work. I've been an energy medicine practitioner for 15 years and a teacher, but it was because I was like, wow, if I'm going to like work, be able to be grounded, be able to live a life in this world, I have to figure out how to manage these. And I know that you feel some of those same ways too. I attract people a lot that are like me because of our magnetics and your sensitivities. How do you make your sensitivities your superpowers? It can feel also like you want community, like you are aware of these, or you've been on the path for a while, but you're ready for another upgrade. You're ready for another deepening, or you want to reconnect and be in community and accountable with people. I really do get it. I really do. And so, this journey is about feeling your power. It's about walking the shamanic path in a way that's accessible. It's practical. You embody your radiant self. You connect with your higher self. You increase your intuition. We do a lot in the clearing. We clear unwanted energies. We clear ancestral lines. We explore the shadow and the light in a pretty profound way. We build community, and you get very masterful at ritual and ceremony for yourself, for your family, for people you work with. It's a beautiful container. And I've been, again, like, I just feel blessed. I'm excited, and I'm the facilitator, and I'm doing all this, and I'm putting the invitation out, and I've been working with the soul of the group already. So I see the souls, and others have already joined and said yes, and I can feel the souls, and I've already been in, again, like, my life is ritual, and I really want to share that. So I've been in communication with the souls that are already going to be the group soul of the program, and it's exciting. I get to see, like, ooh, I feel the soul, but then I get to meet the personality. I get to meet the soul embodied. It's a profound, I never, again, I've been doing this for a few years, I've been doing this for a long time, but the mentorship, and it's just always brings me literally to tears. It's an exquisite process. So this is really about transforming your doubts and your wounds and creating sovereignty, and to trust in that. So I really would love to invite you into this program. It's really a distillation of some of the most powerful tools in the last 20 years of study, of training, of 10 years in sound healing, 15 years in energy healing, 20 years in the shamanic practices, in my own, and then what's come through me, and it's just in a deep devotional way. And so how the program works, it's on Zoom. I've had people from all over the world participate, and it's live calls. I will never do this just by the online program and then like kind of do it and kind of don't. I know I don't like to do that. So how I've managed for me, when I really got the download, Isis and Mary Magdalene came in, and I was at a river, and of course, and said, this is the way it's going to go. And I'm not a computer person. Technology's been a challenge, and I'm changing that, but that's how it's been, especially at that time 4 years ago. And I was like, oh, I don't know how this is going to go. And it's like, trust. And it has been the biggest surprise and gift to see how soul community can truly be formed on this platform. And it's 90 minutes. Sometimes I go over because when we get in the field, it's 90 minutes to 2 hours. calls, 12 of them over 6 months. It's twice a month are live calls, and we get to build the community. You learn every call, you learn practices and tools, as well as deep experiences. So we dabbled in it tonight a little bit, but then you will have a deep experience where your consciousness shifts, where your cells shift. We'll be journeying to the underworld, be journeying to the upper world. So it's 90-minute calls, 90 to 2 hours calls, 12 of those live. There's going to be a private Facebook group. And this is where the surprise came in for me, and the community piece. It's been profound and a blessing to see the extent where people connect, the community that is built, and they'll be pretty active. I'll be doing Facebook Lives. We'll be engaging in 21-day practices, 40-day prayer practices, and I will be on there every single day with you doing these practices. So it's a very engaged group. If you are not a group person, you're not a Facebook person, no problem. I have someone that wasn't on Facebook, which honestly, like, yay for them. That's impressive. And they never were on. And they were like, you know what? I really just want to take this journey for myself. I love community, but they were going through this really big transition, and she was full, and no problem. She just listened to the calls. She was never on the live calls. She listened to it on her own and did the practices on her own. And the testimonial she wrote made me cry. She had a life-changing experience, and it really moved her into a different direction. So the Facebook group is pretty robust if you want it, and then you don't have to engage at all either. You'll get a private session with me, and this is where we go deep dive into your records, what is the energy blueprint, like what are we working with on a very specific, personal, deep way. I combine the shamanic practices, the energy medicine, the sound healing. So it's a really deep exploration into how, like, what's in the way of you really walking this path in the way that you want to? What is the way of you walking your medicine path, your beauty way? And so we go from there. And so, and I love getting to know one-on-ones. So that's always a blessing for me too. You know, there's deep ritual and ceremony. You'll be the weeks that you will not be on a live call. You will be also getting a practice to engage with. Again, do as much as you want, as less as you want. These rituals and ceremonies will be what also recreates your life. And, you know, I just got actually a message from a dear sister who did it last time. And, you know, it's intense. It's a deeply packed, pretty powerful program of, again, like this, it's 20 years of these explorations, and they're just going back to certain calls, and they're like, oh, I did that thing and I did that ritual from back in the summer, and it was perfect timing for her. She did it then. She wasn't ready. She did it last week, and it was exactly when she's ending partnership. It was perfect. So again, like, you'll be given the rituals and ceremonies to do. Engage as much as you want. I'm really excited about them, and also some new ones that are coming through. You'll receive monthly sound transmissions, and especially if you've not worked with me, what that is that I will be engaging. I work as a sound channel. I've been sitting with my teacher, Tom Kenyon, for over a decade now, and the way that it works is through the transmission. So you'll be receiving on MP3, so it's not, I record professionally different journeys and different sound transmissions that you will receive to listen to as you go through the program. And these are initiations through sound. So sometimes we work with the violet flame, which is a energy to change, to transmute energy, to clear frequencies. Isis comes in. So it's really about, like, what is your high destiny, which she really guides that. So there's a sound transmission from her. So there's these different opportunities and initiations. And again, you'll get an MP3. You'll also be getting MP3s of journeying to the underworld, to the upper world, the experiences that we go through. There's a lot of other journeys. You'll be getting MP3s, so you don't have to go back through the whole Zoom call and figure out where the meditation is. So we'll do the practice on the call, and then you'll get an MP3 all this is yours to keep for forever. And those are really powerful as well. And there's a lot to it. And what I'm really also excited about are the amazing teachers, guest teachers, and bonus classes. We're going to be doing some deep ancestral healing work, as well as a dear friend and talented astrologer is going to be coming on in the beginning and the end and showing us what are the cosmic energies we're going to work with, and then also giving rituals to do to really have the cosmos work with us through the program. So I'm really excited about that. It's going to be great. She's a great teacher. Also, we're going to be working with crystals and grids and taking stone elixirs through the process. That's going to, again, shift vibration. This is a profound, I'm just really, and again, like I can say this without like, ooh, yay, me, because it's not me. This is a profound program that I'm a steward of the consciousness, and I'm so excited. It's every year gets better. This year we are adding more different dimensions. It's more nuanced. We're working with the 4 directions in a very intimate way. We're working with dream work. There's a way that you leave the program in such a well-rounded, but not watered down understanding of the 3 realms. So we do altar craft, right? So it's like, how is altar craft? How does altars become alive as living beings that fuel your life, that you receive guidance from? You go to your altar, you open up the portal. It is a reflection of your own internal reality as well. So we do altar craft, the Kaya Pacha, this realm. We go into the underworld. We do deep work in the shadows. This is a profound and can be intense time. And forewarning, you will transform. You will heal, and your life will be different. And especially if you know those are things that are like, I don't know if I should be in this job. And you know that there's like, it's over here. Like that awareness is over here. My dog's like, when are you coming out? So I apologize if you hear them. She's a guide on the journey too. She's a fierce protector. That awareness will come closer because you'll be opening up to your soul stream. We work. This is really about the soul's journey and embodying your soul path, your medicine path, and your spirit. We work with clearing your space. A lot of it is purification. Whose energy is in your space? What ancestors are talking to you? Clear the space. Then we do a lot of soul retrieval. This lifetime, last lifetime, where is your energy stuck? Where are those places that you haven't been able to get through those habits because you don't have all of yourself? Soul retrieval. And then we go and we work with our star family. We go and we work with our guides. We activate the 12 chakra system. You get to know your spiritual anatomy, your energy anatomy, and your higher centers to bring in higher frequency, even beyond the soul, up into the monadic consciousness. You learn how to work with manifestation. We do the crystal grids for manifestation. We drink the elixirs to awaken perception, refine our knowing and third eye. So this is really, I mean, I could go on about it, but I know your time is valuable, and I really appreciate you sticking with me so far. It's an incredible program. I'm really excited about it, and then I invite you in. And the investment for it, and I will send out a link. And it's also for me, I always go to testimonials when I'm on a place, especially if you don't know me, to see like, ooh, are there real people who do this? So there's plenty of testimonials and really beautiful beings that shared their experience of this journey on my website and in the mentorship page on my website, which you'll get a link to. Just a side note, because I always like testimonials. There's a discovery call if you are like, oh, this sounds interesting. I'd like to learn more. There'll be a link for that. And so the investment for the program, it's, honestly, it's always interesting putting a price tag on this, right? But the time, the energy, it's really valued for 3 times what it is. And the price for it is, if you pay everything all at once, is $2,200. And if not, it's $2,400. And it's broken up into 6 payment plans of $400 or 9 installments of $266. So I really wanted to make it doable. It is an investment. I can feel the field. So pause, like what fears come up? Is the money piece come up and you're like, oh, can't do it? You know, all is okay, but just notice like what comes up for you. Is your heart like, oh, I want to do that, or oh, I'm not so sure? You know, where are you at? Just like pause and feel. um it's an investment, and I promise you it is worth your return. So that is the investment. Again, discovery calls. I would love to talk to you also to see if we're a good fit. you know um, it's a journey every day. So some of the other things is every day I am at my altar, and we are already in the prayer field, and I'm praying and feeling. And when I say we'll go through prayer, it's not traditional prayer what I do. um, every single day you are held in this container. So it's 6 months of being held in this sacred space. So things will move, things will shift. So I invite you to join me in this 6 months journey, also with profound people. There are people in there who are sisters for life now. Um, we get to share and celebrate in our awakening together. Again, I could talk about this all day. I get so excited. I just feel blessed. My consciousness shifts, my energy shifts as we go on this journey. So it starts February 5th on Imbolc. So it is officially open. And because you stuck with me and you're on this webinar, so if you join in the next, I'll send out an email with the information, but if you join in the next few days, I would like to offer it to you for $400 off. So $19.99, because I like those 9 numbers, cosmically speaking. So I'd love to invite you for $19.99. And the 6-month plan applies to come and join. It's like, why not? It's time. So thank you all for being with me, and regardless whether you join or not, thank you for being you and showing up, and taking this time to remember. So I look forward to hearing from you, and let's close. So we're going to close the eyes, tune into the breath. Inhale and exhale. Letting all of that information go down the grounding cord. Perhaps all the excitement, perhaps all the triggers, perhaps I can't do it because of the money, perhaps I'm not really a priestess, can I really do this? I'm not spiritual enough. All of that. And also the hell yes, this is what I've been waiting for. I'm ready for this. Letting the sage, as it goes around, spiral in and out of your body, all the energy bodies. Deep breath. And notice what you notice. How do you feel now from the beginning of the call? Being present, inhaling and exhaling. I'd like to thank all of our guides and teachers and the souls, all who showed up today. I'd like to give thanks and deep gratitude for this sacred circle of beings of light, including yourself. Give thanks for this time at the spiritual fire. I give thanks for this time to pause, to remember our connection to Pachamama, Mother Gaia, to open ourselves to receive more of our soul, to remember our star family. Give thanks for all the beings of light that held us so impeccably, the archangels, all of our allies and guides in the unseen realm, the sacred apus, the mountains that hold us here in the Appalachia, and to the spirit of the land which holds you. As we close our time together, may we remember, may we walk forward with more connection with open hearts, with more sovereignty. May we know ourselves. May all beings be free. May all beings remember who they are. May all beings know joy and peace. I lift these prayers up to the spiritual fire, going into the divine, knowing that it is already done and it is already so. Taking a deep breath in, breathing all the way into the pelvic floor, up, expanding, top of the head. Breathing in and out of the heart. And the circle is closed. One more inhale all the way into the belly. Sigh on the exhale. Fully arriving into your sacred space. Opening the eyes when ready. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for showing up for yourselves. And I hope to be in deeper communion with you. If not in this program, and down the line, I will be doing Facebook Lives regularly and leading more explorations of change and shifts in consciousness and engaging with different energies. So I hope to see you there as well. All right, my loves, thank you for your time and your energy, and I will talk to you soon.